Iowa Representative Zach Nunn in the House of Representatives today has introduced a new amendment to the Constitution. All of the details have not been released as of yet, at least not from what I've seen, but it is for a balanced budget amendment. And this isn't the first time they've attempted to balance the budget through an amendment. I think the first attempt was in 1936, I believe. And then they have tried hundreds, if not of times since then. And the idea of balancing the budget would mean that all federal spending must match federal income. So if there is an increase in spending, there must be an equal increase in income, which means higher taxes. And there's a lot of ways to look at a balanced budget amendment. Supporters of it will say it helps prevent runaway spending. However, if you have to go in with a balanced budget, whenever the federal government would have to react to a crisis, for example, we just had two major hurricanes run through Florida, Georgia, and North Carolina. If they wanted to spend $100 billion in disaster relief, well, they would either have to find a way to raise taxes by $100 billion nationwide, or they would have to cut funding from something else to make up that difference and move money around. There is all sorts of issues with a balanced budget amendment. If they really want to do away with this deficit spending, which is what we currently operate on, which is where we have more spending than we have income right now, taxes. And then in order to keep spending money, they have to keep borrowing money, paying interest on that borrowed money, and then turning around and borrowing more money. The best way to stop deficit spending and to start to lower the debt would be to raise taxes. But that goes against everything the Republicans want to do. They want to continue to give tax cuts, especially to the top earners, the top 1%, and give crumbs to the people at the bottom. Now, under the Clinton administration, we were actually going under a budget surplus, and we were starting to slowly pay down our national debt. Because year after year, during the last years of the Clinton administration, we were set to make money ahead. And that no longer happens. So that would be one thing they could do if they really wanted to balance it. But more than likely, what they would want to use, at least Republicans would want to use this balanced budget amendment for, would be to constantly cut spending in things they deem unnecessary and then go, well, our hands are tied because of the Constitution. Now, they've tried hundreds of times to do these balanced budget amendment. The amendment process is slow. It would take like 290, 300 members of the House to support it, which would take Democrats. I don't know if they have the votes there. It would take 67 members of the Senate, 67 senators, again, would take Democrats. Don't know if there'd be enough Democrats to support it in the Senate. And then it would have to go out to the states, and it would take 38 states to ratify. And I just don't know if they have the support for that either. We'll see if it passes, but this could just be another proposal that's doomed to fail.